all rise and shout. It's time for What's Trending. The BYU football schedule will be the toughest the Cougars have ever faced. 10 Power 5 games, 9 in the Big 12 Conference. What's Trending presented by Feastbox, donating 10% of every order to Full of Hope, a charitable organization that feeds hungry families. Let's do this and kick off our hour-long jam-packed show with our season predictions, Jarom, for every single prominent stat and more, at least we think, as it pertains to BYU football version 2023. Yes. Beginning with, of course, how many games BYU going to win? What's the record going to be? And what's the record in the Big 12 going to be in their first go-around?
Look, I'm going conservative on these, okay? I would like to be, underestimating things.
Sure.
Rather than just going 9-3 and 6-3 in the league or whatever. I'm going 6-6.
Okay.
I'm going to stick with 6-6. I'd love for BYU to be 8-4, trust me. And then Big 12 record, 4-5. I think 4-5 is a nice start in the league.
So 2-1 in non-conference?
Yes. I have a loss at Arkansas. Just, hopefully BYU can upset the Razorbacks and win that one. But that's what I go with. 6-6 overall, 4-5 in league. I think that's just fine. It's not like great or even good. Maybe it's relatively good given first year in the Big 12, but those are the numbers.
We're not far off, but I can't back down from what I said months ago for the first time.
Oh, stay with me.
Which is lucky 7. I think BYU's going to win 7 games, and they go 5-4 in the Big 12. I think a winning record in year 1 of Big 12 play would be incredible.
Yeah.
I think there are enough close game opportunities, given on how much parity we think is going to be in this conference. The BYU, with their experience, with an experienced senior leader quarterback, they'll find a way to make a couple of plays late in games, and they're going to win the majority of their Big 12 games. So 7-5, 5-4 overall.
Yeah,
and everybody should feel fantastic about that.
You got to make a bowl game. If you don't make a bowl game, it is disappointing no matter what. No matter what in BYU football. We always expect at least a bowl game. Okay, bowl prediction. Which bowl and opponent? Call your shot.
I want vengeance against Liberty, Jarom.
Oh,
a tie-in with Conference USA, BYU in the Armed Forces Bowl.
Yep.
If you remember, BYU fans, the Cougars opened to the Independence era, a new era. Their first bowl game was the Armed Forces Bowl.
Yeah, I've held that trophy. It's the heaviest trophy BYU owns. It's crazy.
They win with the red alert play, Riley Nelson to Cody Hoffman against Tulsa, 24-21. BYU goes back to the Armed Forces Bowl. The Big 12 has a secondary tie with the Armed Forces Bowl, I think with 14 teams in the conference and maybe some other conferences not fulfilling their bowl obligations.
That'd be in Big 12 country as well.
Yes.
Dallas.
So it's a secondary tie, but there is a tie with the Big 12. They take on the Conference USA champion. They're going for the best matchup. Western Kentucky is the favorite. Liberty was picked second.
Western Kentucky 2020 rematch.
Okay, that could be fun. Okay. Also, matchup of the greatest mascot bracket, right?
Was a big
red and Cosmo. Yeah. So Western Kentucky would be fun, but I like the idea of vengeance against the Liberty Flames in the Armed Forces Bowl, BYU and Liberty matching up in Texas.
Jimmy Chadwell, Coastal Carolina coaches there now. There's that connection. Okay, I go Independence Bowl. I just think that's where BYU's going to slot in. But it's Pac-12. And it's UCLA who shows up in like the 6th or 7th spot.
Okay.
Has a disappointing season. And it's a P5 matchup against the Bruins. That's my bowl prediction.
I thought about that, about the Pac-12 matchup, and thought maybe it's Oregon State. Maybe it's BYU Oregon State.
Was pretty good last year. We all kind of hope it's Utah having a terrible season.
In the Independence Bowl? Oh, my gosh.
Okay, let's go. Keaton Slovis.
All right. We've broken it down. Pass yards, completions, touchdowns, interceptions, and why not throw in a longest rush of the season?
Here are my numbers. 3,384 yards. I think he has a nice passing season there. 65% completions.
Okay.
29 touchdowns, just hair under 30.
Ooh.
10 picks. Longest rush is his longest of his career by 1 yard.
Okay.
25 yards.
Okay. You like 25 yards. So a new career best for Keaton Slovis.
What you got?
Okay, my numbers. 3,421 passing yards, which is roughly 263 per game, including a bowl game.
We don't know what the other did, by the way. We didn't talk beforehand.
No,
so
no conversation.
What you think.
34-21, 263 a game, 66.1% completion percentage.
I like the .1.
He's 65.9 for his career. I think it's just an uptick there. 31 touchdowns. which would be a career best for him by 1, and 9 interceptions. I feel like he's been pretty consistent in that number. I know that Aaron Roderick values possession a lot.
Yes.
But I think Keaton Slovis, by nature, is just willing to take a few more risks. But 31 touchdowns and 9 interceptions, you give me a 3-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, we're golden. Yeah. Longest rush, well, it's one of my favorite numbers, 21. 21 yards. Doesn't have a new career high, but 21 yards is Keaton Slovis' longest rush.
Against Texas Tech. I like that specificity.
Okay.
Aiden Robbins, rush yards, yards per carry, rush TDs.
Why
we
not
just specifically go with him? We're not like going who's the leading rusher?
Why not just stay with things that are aesthetically pleasing for me, numerically speaking?
Okay.
1,111 yards rushing.
What? That's what I said exactly. Oh no, I said 1,011. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. I was like, holy.
I'm 100 more than you. 1,111.
Okay.
So I'm 100 yards apparently more over you. Okay. 11-11, 5.1 yards per carry. Okay.
Yeah.
So he averages 4.9.
Yeah.
10 touchdowns. He hits double figures in touchdowns.
I kind of hate how similar we think sometimes. Okay, I have 1,011 yards. We're so different. 5 yards carry, flat, 11 touchdowns. So not super different. I have fewer yards, and just a little under the yards per carry, and just one more touchdown. So yeah, there's Aiden Robbins. He's going to have a 1,000-yard year. We think very highly of Aiden Robbins and this offensive line.
Yes.
We think very highly of them. Let's go.
I'm essentially centering on an average of 85 yards a game. He's going to have some big games and some games that are under 85 yards against really stout defenses.
It's going to be hard to run against Texas, for example.
Sure, but essentially 85 yards a game, 5.1 yard per tote. Yep. Okay, leading receiver, and we've broken this up into 3 separate categories. It doesn't have to be the same person, but leading person as far as yards go, receptions, and touchdowns.
Okay, receptions. Chase Roberts, 49.
Okay.
Who you got?
I got Keanu Hill.
Keanu Hill, how many?
45.
Okay.
His durability matters.
Yep. Okay, yards. I have Cody Epps, 529.
Ooh.
I think Cody Epps leads.
I think Keanu Hill's going to have a few more than he had last year. Okay, 707. He's also my yards.
700 would be good given the balance of the kind of top 5.
I think his availability. He plays in every game. Like, think about all the guys that have been injured in the receiver corps. Keanu Hill's always there.
Yes. Rec TDs. Keanu Hill, 8.
Ooh, same number for me. But I'm going with Isaac Rex. Isaac Rex will lead BYU in touchdown receptions with 8.
There you go. Okay, leading tackler in how many?
It's going to be a 3rd consecutive year for Ben Bywater, Jarom.
I agree. How many?
88 tackles for
94.
Ben Bywater. You got 94 for Ben.
Just a little more.
A difference of 6, but we both think Bywater's going to lead the Cougars.
Get 89 plus, please.
Well, is it closest to the pin, or is it like if it's over, it goes to you?
What is it, Colton? We don't know. I don't know.
Are these Price is Right rules where if you go
closest to the pin?
Closest to the pin.
Okay. Well, then would have been good to know.
Okay, very good. So you need 92 or more, and I need 90. Well, 91 maybe like a split down the middle. Is that how that would work?
I'm not sure.
Okay. All right.
Who cares?
How many field goals will be made from 45 plus yards?
It's hard to know. We don't know how big Will Farron's leg is at the moment. I'm going 2.
Okay.
I think there will be 2 this year.
We agree on this.
Yeah.
2.
Okay. Well, boring. Okay. Watch.
Okay. Does one of us need to take a stand and be more aggressive?
It's okay.
Should I up it to 3?
If you want.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Let's see. How many sacks and takeaways? We're combining this. Sackaways, if you will.
Okay.
How many you got? There were 28 total last year.
Yeah, 28 total, which is just not good.
That's pathetic.
It's just terrible,
Do
right?
better. Yeah.
15 sacks and 13 takeaways a year ago.
Yeah.
I think BYU doubles in each of those categories, Jarom. 30 sacks for BYU this season.
30 sacks?
30.
Wow!
Straight up.
30 sacks?
Yes. If they're going to be aggressive.
Hold on. Sacks and takeaways, you have 55.
Yes.
Yeah.
Listen.
Wow, that's a high number.
If BYU's going to be aggressive,
that's a high number.
They need to show them. They had 15 last year, and 15 was lowest in the country. Well, second lowest in the country. Colorado's the worst, but second lowest in the country.
Yeah. 30 would be nice, man. We get
30
a couple of games.
Sacks, yes.
Yeah,
13 games, you average a hair more than 2 sacks per game. Is that too much to ask? A little more than 2 sacks per game?
It might be. I don't know. BYU's going to be in a Power 5 league. Like, all these stats aren't Mountain West or Indy or WAC, right? Hard to know. I'm much lower. I'm like 40 sackaways in the combo number there with takeaways and sacks. To some degree, takeaways are lucky.
Yes.
But sacks, you get after the quarterback, and if he doesn't get the ball out and everyone's covered, it kind of depends on the secondary as well. So there we go. We differ a lot in that one.
Yes. I just feel like, okay, I'm in show me mode, and I'm buying it right now. The BYU is going to be more aggressive. They're going to create more opportunities. They're going to give up. You're
in Costco mode. You think there's a lot of 3-packs, 5-packs, 55-packs.
They're going to give up more big plays. I'm guaranteeing that as well.
Yeah, we didn't say how many 50-plus yard pass plays will BYU.
Hey, whatever. There might be a few, a handful, but they will be aggressive. They'll double the sack total last year. 25 takeaways. I think this defense will be opportunistic. Okay, so that's my hottest take here in these projections. I had to go a little crazy on one of them, and I thought that was the area to do it. Fourth down conversion percentage.
33% last year. I go way higher, 56%.
Yes.
Which should be 45th last year. That's not crazy aggressive.
I'm not too far off, 60%.
Okay.
It works 60% of the time, all the time, Jarom.
Thank you.
60% fourth down conversion percentage.
Onside kick, will there be a successful one? Yes or no? I say no as well. It's so hard to get one. BYU got one. Last got one, what, Houston 2020? Which was amazing.
It changed the game. It won BYU the game according to Dana Holgorsen.
Let's just ask Kalani next segment if they're going to onside kick and get one.
Okay.
Total touchdowns. Last year was 54. Year before that, 57. What do you got?
55. I like the number 55.
That's what I said.
Okay.
Why do we think so alike?
For my sacks and my takeaways, I have 55.
We both have
touchdowns, 55.
One-score games. How many, and what's the record?
BYU is going to play a ton of close games this year.
Ooh.
This is the conference. This is Power 5 football.
This is BYU being competitive in every game.
7 one-score games BYU will play. 4-3 in those games.
I go 5 one-score games. I go 2-3.
All right.
In those.
I think 7. It's going to be close.
Yeah.
I hope BYU fans are ready. It's going to be, I think, more often than a nail biter for BYU.
Which is exciting. You want to compete. And,
sure.
And I don't see, I don't see, and I'm hoping that BYU, you're going to lose some games. That BYU is competitive in those games in a way that in the past sometimes it was like, okay, last year against Arkansas, it was disappointing not to be as competitive late in that game. I think BYU is more competitive this year with better depth and a new defensive staff.
Yes, and to clarify, by one-score games, the game will be determined by 8 points or fewer.
Yes.
Okay? Yeah. So if it's 9 or more, then it obviously does not qualify. But I think there will be 7 of the 13.
Okay.
Decided by 8 points or fewer.
Exciting season.
I'm ready for this. Let's go. All right. That is all of your projections. Did you want to add anything last minute? Like,
no.
You want to throw anything else, like random craziness?
Longest punt
by Ryan Rico.
Ryan Rico.
Okay, because we can. I mean, we're on live TV. We can change things up.
The control room's like, please don't. We don't have a graphic.
For the record, I don't think Ryan Rico is going to break his BYU record.
No.
Which is
83 against Arizona State.
An absurd number. You need the perfect scenario to make that happen. Our question of the day: what is your boldest guarantee about the BYU football season?
I'm interested to hear what people have to say.
Aaron Huff answers on Facebook. He says Aiden Robbins will rush for 1,000 yards.
So it's bold, but you also firmly believe it will happen.
You're guaranteeing it.
We're very excited about this O-line and Aiden Robbins. I can't wait to see it, man.
1,000 yards in 13 games is like 78 yards a game.
It's not crazy.
You can do that.
You have to have some games where you're getting 130 where you got 70 in
Yes, he was a 1,000-yard rusher at UNLV behind what we believe is much less capable offensive line.
Than what BYU has
here.
Yes.
John Weaver on Facebook. Bowl eligible. He says these are bold guarantees. Bowl eligible and beating Texas and Oklahoma.
Listen, we'll take it. There's great history there. It's 6-1 combined. Let's go.
Holy cow. # BYUSN on X, Facebook, and Instagram.